Hello everybody! Welcome to another video from Coach Oz with Profanis. This will be the last video for the year 2022, and if you want to get updated on my content, please like and subscribe. In this video, we will see how to create reusable Angular components using content projection. Particularly, we will work on a reusable component, or actually we will use a card component and we will try to make it reusable. All we can see here is that we have a header, we have an image, we have a title, we have the main content of the card, and perhaps we can have even a footer on this card. If we now focus on the main content, we can see the following: that the main content could be either a text or even another component. And for this reason, in terms of reusability, the card component will have a slot. This is the terminology that we use whenever we're talking about content projection. And in a matter of fact, we will create a slot for the header, we will create a slot for the main content, and even for the footer. And as of the title, we will just have an input here. Having said that, we will see how to create a reusable component using multiple slots. And to make it even more advanced and fun to watch, we will try to create a conditional slot. And the condition here is the following: that if I do not have a main content, I do not want to present the footer. So let's get started. This is the component that we will try to make it reusable. And as we can see, we have the image, we have the title, we have the main content, and here also we have the footer, which has the action buttons. And all of this code is copy-paste from this code pen, the HTML and the CSS. So let's try now to make it reusable. And we will start with the title, but let's first have a look on the code. Into the code into the app we have the components, and this is my card component. And I said this is just a copy-paste from this code pen. What we have here is that we have the image, we have the content container, which has the title, it has the main content, and also we have the footer here. And in terms of the selector, we use this selector into the app component HTML. So let's keep them side by side, meaning that I want to have the app card and also the app component HTML side by side. And let's start with the title. This is the easy one, right? This is no more like an input, so I will create here an input and I will name it title of type string. And of course now we have to replace here the flex. And then let's go to the app component HTML and have here my title, and let's have the same title, flex. And if we go to the browser, we can see that this seems to work just fine. And let's duplicate this and I will create the flex too, or whatever. And this is how it looks like. Nice. So let's now try to create a slot, like we said previously, to use the content projection for the main content. So let me delete this and let's focus now into the main content, which is this guy. I will just cut this content and here I will create an ng content, no more than this. So, and I will close this ng content. Nice. Whenever we use the ng content, what we're doing is that we're creating a slot into the reusable component, and now we can project any content we wish. But you might be wondering, what do we mean by saying content? Well, anything that is between the open and the close element tag of the component, I mean here, this is our content. So if I paste the text here, now this text is going to be projected here into my ng content. So let's go to the browser and yeah, this is it. So this is actually how to create a content projection. This is how we create slots. This is very easy to use. And again, anything that is between the open and the close element tags. And yes, of course we can have here even a component. Since we created the ng content here, let's try to do the same now for the footer. So I will copy the ng content and I will paste it here. Now I have two different slots, and I will grab the button and I will paste it here. So let's now think the following. We have two different slots, which means that here I can project the content, which is anything that is between the open and the close element, which is this one, and here I have also a slot. But how do we know which one goes where? I mean that here we have the main content and here we have the footer. Obviously, this is a problem, and we need somehow to tell this guy, the footer, that I want to project something specific. So for this one, we will use a select, and please note here that I will add just brackets and I will type footer. You name it, we type whatever you like. And here I will just create the ng container or div or whatever, but I prefer here to have an ng container so that I won't have a DOM element. ng container, and inside the ng container I will have my button, and here I will type footer. So what is happening now is that I have this content here, and this content is going to be projected here and here. And this guy is saying the following: I want to project only the elements, only the content that are marked with a footer attribute. So here I have footer and here I have footer. And if we go now to the browser, we can see here that we have the main content and we also have the button. You might be wondering that why do we have here different styling? Yeah, of course, the problem is here that I didn't grab the CSS which is currently into the card component to move it here. But I will skip this step. So how about now if I have multiple cards? Here I am going to have my flex2, this is going to be my text, and perhaps this card requires to have more than one actions. For example, this could be something like save changes, and this could be something like cancel. Nice. So let's go to the browser, and this is it. I have my flex and I have my flex2. In order to style these buttons, the save changes and the cancel and the button and anything that has to do with the content projection, please note that this guy, the app component, is responsible to apply the styling. So let's now delete this card and go again back to the card component. So we have just created the footer, and let's do now the same for the header. And I will create here another select and I will name it header, and perhaps I can create here my header. So header, and this is going to be the header content. Header content. Nice. So let's go to the browser to see what we have. And here it is. We have the header content. As you can see, it doesn't matter where we place the content. When we content project, this guy will pick the content which is under the attribute header, which is here. This guy will grab the content which is under the footer, which is here. And as of this, the ng content will grab the rest of the content. Nice. So here we have now the main content, we have the footer, and we also have the header. Although this works just fine, I don't like it that much because here we have something like magic strings, right? So perhaps if someone from our team, instead of footer, types something like foo, and instead of headers, type something like head. Let's go to the browser to see what we have. Angular thinks that the main content, the button, and the header content, everything are part of the main content, which is this one. So this is why I don't like it that much, the magic strings. To make an improvement, we will create just a directive. So let's start with a footer. So here I will create just a class, export class, and I will name it my app card or just card footer. Directive, yeah, just this one. And we also need to have the directive. And in terms of metadata, my selector will be my app card footer. And this is going to be a standalone to true. Nice. So since we're going now to use the card footer directive into the app component HTML, let's go to the app component TS and just import it here. And now, in terms of, let's focus into the card component. In terms of the API, I don't want to select the footer attribute, but I want to select the app card footer. Which means now that we can go here and replace the ng container footer with this one. Much better, right? So let's go to the browser, and it seems that it works just fine. So we no longer have magic strings here. If someone, for example, types something like that, appcard foo, immediately we will have a compilation error. And let's do the same now for the header. And again, I will copy paste this one and I will name it appcard header and card header directive. And in terms of the API of the content projection, I don't want to select the attribute header, but I want to select the selector of appcard header. And of course, now we have to do this here. Like this. And this is going to be my header content. So let me delete this header content. And of course, we'll have here a warning, an error actually. And the reason is that I didn't import the card header directive into the app component TS. So let's do this here. Awesome. So let's now go to the browser and to see what we have. And it seems that everything works well. We'll have the header content, we'll have the main content, and we also have the footer here. So we managed to create multiple slots, the footer, the header, and the main content, and we also have compilation errors in case someone types something different. Let's now see how to apply the condition. So let's go here, not in the app component, but into the app card. To apply the condition, we said the following, that if I do not have my main content, I don't want to present this one, the footer. So this is going to be something like that. We're going to have an if equals something, right? So if this is false, I don't want to present the footer. So how can we do this? We need somehow this guy, the card component, to be aware if a content has been projected, and specifically we mean this one. And since currently it's just a string, we cannot make it, right? To apply a condition when we use content projection, the best approach is to use templates. So I will do the following. I will have here an ng template. I will paste my code here. And here I'm going to use just a template reference variable, and I will name it card main content. Since we now have the card main content, this guy, the card component, can now use the content child, which is a property decorator, and I want to select something. What? I want to select my card main content. And this is going to be my card main content, and the type is going to be a template ref. And for now, I will have it like any. And this is an optional one. It could be undefined. So what the content child is doing is that applies a selector into the content, and as we said previously, the content is anything that is between the open and the close element tags. And we are selecting the card main content, which is this guy here, the template reference variable, and we keep the reference into this property. So now we can do the following. If this is truthy, I want to select the footer. And of course here we no longer have the ng content, but we have to replace this. And we have to replace it with something equivalent for the template. And this is my ng container. And here I want to have my ng template outlet. So what this is doing is that it accepts a template, and this is my template, the card main content. And I still have here a warning, and the problem is that this is an optional one, so I can have here an ng if as well. So if this is truthy, I want to use this template here. If you want to learn more about template and the engine template outlet, please stay tuned, and the next video will be focused on the templates and the engine template outlet. So for now, the engine template outlet, what it's doing is that accepts a template and projects it here. So let's go to the browser to see what we have. And this is it. It seems that it works just fine, right? And how about now if I remove my main content? So let's do this. I will delete this one completely. And I expect not to have the footer. And yeah, we don't have the main content and we do not even have the footer here. So let's revert this back. And if you're like me, perhaps you won't like the magic strings, right? So again, instead of using the magic string here, the card main content, perhaps we can improve this and use a directive instead. And this is going to be my app card, or you know what, this is going to be just an attribute, app card main content. And this is going to be my card content directive. And again, I have to use this one into my app component TS, which is a standalone component. I will import it here. Now I can use it instead of using the card main content. Now I can use the app card main content. And instead of selecting the string, the card main content, I can select the type, which is the card content directive, which is this guy. So let's go to the browser to see what we have. Oops, it seems that we have an error here, so let's open the developer tools, and it says the following, that template ref create embedded view is not a function. As we can see, we have the engine template, we have the app card main content, and this guy, it has the content child, the card content directive, and the type is template ref. But the type should be card content directive, right? So let's replace this. So now we have the card content directive, and if we go up, we have an error here which says that the engine template outlet is missing the following properties from type template ref. And of course, the card main content has nothing to do with the template, right? So we have to make an improvement here. Inside my app card main content, I will add a constructor, and the constructor will have as a public property a template, and this is going to be my template ref. And for now, let's have the type any. So when we use this one, this kind of pattern, this template now will be this template, which means that we can replace the card main content with card main content dot template. And now we are grabbing the template from the directive, and the directive grabs this template from here. And if we go to the browser, we see that everything now works as expected. And if we delete the engine template, we expect not to have the footer. Nice. So it seems that it works just fine. And you might be wondering, can we improve this a bit? Yes, we can improve this, and I will try now to replace the engine template with just a div element. But now the app card main content has nothing to do with a template. So for this one, I will add this asterisk. And this one works behind the scene, which is the structural directive, and wraps, at least this is how you can think this, that it wraps this element with an engine template. And now if we go to the browser, we see that everything works as expected. And again, let's try to delete this. And if we go, yeah, no content, no footer. And now let's see how it works if we try to duplicate this. This is going to be my flex 2. This is my app card main content. This is going to be just my text here. And I want to have two actions, the button and the button 2. And this is my header content 2. So let's see. And yeah, this is it. This is how it looks like. Header content 2, flex 2, and the staff content. And as you can see, we managed to create a reusable component, and we accept to have the title, we have the main content, we have the footer, and we also have here the header. So this is it. If you like my content, please like and subscribe and share it with your colleagues. See you in the next video.